Okay, Mad World, this is Coach Sess, and I want to direct this to the independent coaches, the independent gyms and fighters. There are some patterns that you're going to recognize in your journey while trying to piece your team together by putting your format together. You're going to at some point question whether or not you have a format that is equivalent to what other gyms have. And basically, you're just going to ask that ultimate question. Are we doing mixed martial arts? The first thing you want to do is pay attention to hybrid training method. Are you training in a very different way from your standard martial art? Recognize the big four: the boxing, the wrestling, the jiu-jitsu, the Thai boxing. Your integration, your hybrid mix should be a cross between those things, but not leaning toward any one of those things specifically. Then after you identify your hybrid training method, you need to do an inventory to make sure that there's some things you want to be aware of, traps you might fall into. Your eclectic method cannot be based on choice. You have to watch out for that. In other words, you just can't randomly pick a little bit of this from that art and a little bit of this from that art and try to blend it. There's some technical, structural differences that don't allow you to mix well. You just can't piece them together and step back and say, look what I've done. Just don't do it. Try not to compound the big four: the boxing, the wrestling, jiu-jitsu, Thai boxing. It's like taking a round ball and making it your base. Then you're gonna try to balance a square box on top. And then you're gonna put a triangle on top of the box, and then a rectangle on top of the triangle. Just don't do it. Don't try to compound the big four. Usually in this phase of your training, what most people try to do with the big four is they pull just a few concepts, strategies, techniques out of the big four. So they may say, hey, I don't have enough time to train boxing, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, Thai boxing in a linear fashion. In other words, from scratch to some level of proficiency. What they try to do is say, okay, I'm going to pull out some defense from boxing. I like boxing defense. I'm going to work the clinch from Thai boxing and takedowns from wrestling only up against the wall, and then add in some jiu-jitsu to help me escape back to the top or to finish my opponent when I'm on top. That's a tough format to put together. It's been tried, so I'm just trying to save you that time. You know, every coach I grew up with, we all kind of went through that phase. It's just a matter of how long certain coaches stayed with that phase and whether or not they had good results. And the last one is what I call the mashup. And 9 times out of 10, you're going to run around your town and try to pull from whatever school is offering what. Why? Because of availability, resources. If you don't have a car, that'll do it right there. You won't be able to go to other schools where they actually train mixed martial arts in a very progressive manner, and give you knowledge and information to help you learn. And pulling stuff from YouTube is too hodgepodge. You can get a great technique in one video and a great concept in another video, but they're not exactly related. So be careful with the mashup. But my main point is that one of the first things you should recognize whether or not you're doing mixed martial arts is there should be a hybrid method that you're starting to favor for your training routine.